Actually, to be clear, in 2014 there were much less, investors around, so it was a bit easier to be voted in the top 3 most influential investors. When I started this in 2013, there were only a few startups using the keyword Bitcoin on angel lists, and not so many investors actually, or at least professional investors, people who wanted really to contribute to this ecosystem and doing it professionally. But plenty of people were supporting the ecosystem, and of course more today. Very happy to be in Ukraine, first time for me here. Very nice. I think we're being very lucky with the welcome and the weather as well. Before I start, there is one question I usually get at these events. This question is it too late? Is it too late to create a company? Is it too late to invest? And what you should realize is that I got this question 2-3 years ago. And every time my answer is, it's not too late. There's still many, many things to be done, many projects to be worked on, developed. And, as my predecessor speaking here, Craig Sellers, was saying, the future still has to be written. So not too late for anyone who wants to get engaged with cryptos or blockchain in general. So you heard that already. I started a company called Seedcoin initially, which was a virtual incubator. We started investing in what we would call the transactional type of companies, wallets, exchanges, payment processors back in 2013. And we organized the first conference in Singapore and in Asia about Bitcoin. It was called Bitcoin Singapore. But to be honest, I haven't done another one since then because I realized it was too much work. So that's the company that evolved from Seedcoin into Coinsilium. We moved the headquarters in London. We're listed on a stock exchange in London. And basically what we do is we build ventures, but mostly and principally we invest in companies that are developing blockchain application solutions, and also what we like a lot, platforms and infrastructure for other applications to build upon. So that's what we have been doing and been investing in 17 companies, and we have been listed since the end of 2015. We were the first company to float through an IPO, so before the ICO, in London and in this space. So I think we don't need to go into a definition of blockchain, but I think what really I wanted to share with you is the fact that Harvard Business Review authors earlier, actually this year, now many months ago, have described blockchain as a foundational technology. I think that's very important to keep in mind. There is a long-term impact. Blockchain is not the tech of the month, is not the flavor of this summer. Blockchain is something that is going to have a long-term impact on the way we live, on the way we interact with money, on the way we interact with data, but also for companies on the way they work in the infrastructure, and of course how they interact, how they share value, and as Pavel was saying before, how they can learn to trust each other where they don't know each other. So long-term impact. So this diagram just shows the type of companies you could invest in the 2013-2014. So the upper row are actually the type of transactional services I was mentioning before. And now, the new generation of services are into security, data, smart contracts, Internet of Things. All these powered by blockchain and by cryptocurrencies. So these are the new type of companies we have invested over the last couple of years. This is just to give you examples of companies that we are either investing or supporting. And in the center here, you have the type of sectors that blockchain can impact, and that blockchain technology can be used to improve or enhance. So you will recognize maybe some names you know. We are the first seed investor into a company called RSK that many of you may know as Rootstock, which actually enables to program smart contracts and use smart contracts validated by the Bitcoin network. So you basically have the best of both worlds. You have the resilience and security of Bitcoin, but you have the flexibility and the smart contract capacity that you need on the RSK sidechain. And all that through merge mining, so secured by the same miners that are mining Bitcoin every day, every hour of the day. Factom, we are one of the first investors in Factom. Factom has solutions mainly regarding data storage, tamper-proof data, and solutions, for example, for the mortgage industry in the US. So really large industries, and they hash a lot of data, and they anchor this data on the blockchain. So very exciting as well. Mindbox is a more recent company that we work with in the world of data storage, but physically. So they work with HP, and they sell units on which you can share your data capacity. So for example, 16 terabyte machines, and share it and in a way rent it for tokens. So plenty of interesting companies as well. Indoors, decentralized social network for professionals. Gimli, which is a company doing esports betting and ICOing today. Oracle is a company we work with in London and doing Oracle service, so feeding external data to the blockchain, and really leaders in this space. This is a graph you may have seen before, just to show that the mass of interest from financial institutions, large institutions, banks, stock exchanges has happened recently, actually. So as you can see, from the middle of 2015 till now, of course, the next phase of that is the phase of ICOs, which I will go into. So in 2016, the number was not that high, let's say, but it was becoming significant. My recollection is the ICO of a company called First Blood in the fall 2016. And then companies like Golem, Universal Computer in November 2016. And as you can see, the numbers start growing. The numbers start growing, people pay more attention, institutionals pay more attention. And you know, when you see these numbers and the time it takes to raise this money, you think there is something there. This is a new way of raising funds. And also, of course, some specific funds like TAS, of course, here, like Blockchain Capital, have been created to actually focus on the opportunities in this sector. At the same time, there has been this important shift in what we call Bitcoin versus altcoin market cap dominance. So Bitcoin has always been historically the major cryptocurrency, of course, the main one, the one that gave us blockchain. But very recently, in 2017, we start seeing the altcoin market cap gaining ground, and basically Bitcoin not being as dominant as before, and actually all of these new tokens start representing an economic power, an economic interest owned by themselves. So why this year, why now, why are people considering what we call initial coin offerings or token sales? So despite the growth in interest, despite the fact that everybody knows, well, many investors know that blockchain is an interesting opportunity, and many interesting companies and hopefully profitable companies are going to be built on it, many VCs don't really get it. You know, it takes some time. It takes some time to get used to the new models, new economic models, get some time to get used to the technology itself. So when the entrepreneurs speak to VCs, sometimes they get frustrated. You know, they cannot go and quickly explain the model and what is built upon if the VC, if the person, the fund manager, doesn't have much clue about blockchain. So the first problem is knowledge. The second problem is, in general, entrepreneurs have limited options. So for example, crowdfunding can be expensive, can be legally quite restricted. Angel investors, this is another option, but you know, it's usually a local option, or it takes a bit of work to go outside of your boundaries, at least geographically, or outside of your boundaries of your network on LinkedIn and so forth. The banks are not helping. That's not really new, but we know that since 2008, banks have not been very helpful, not many loans, and they don't really support entrepreneurs. And for a lot of entrepreneurs in this space, they cannot get normal accounts. It's very difficult for them to bank in traditional banks. So basically, ICO has been proven as a model. We mentioned here today before Mastercoin, Ethereum. And of course, the technology, Ethereum itself, which is a network often used, smart contracts are often used for ICOs, was born, and since 2015 can be used for this system. So basically here you have a few reasons that have combined together have made ICOs more interesting or more compelling than other solutions. Now, what are the advantages? So, first, I'm not here advocating ICOs. I'm more presenting advantages and then the disadvantages as well. I'm just here of an illustration and informing you. First of all, token sale is a non-dilutive method to raise funds because tokens are not shares. The tokens usually enable users to access a platform. They're usually categorized under reward, right, ownership. These are the different types of tokens. There is no need for, until now at least, to demonstrate a revenue stream. It's a bit quicker access to capital than generally. Legal costs can be lower, but this is rising. Overall costs are rising because of the success of this method and because there is an increased interest in the market. There is nearly immediate liquidity. So of course, when you sell your token, your newly created or issued token for Ether or Bitcoin, you have immediate liquidity. You have a token, we have a cryptocurrency that you can easily exchange either for fiat or keep it as a store of value or keep it if you decide to pay services or to pay your employees in Ether or in cryptocurrencies. There is a network effect. I believe this has been mentioned here before. But the fact that the users of your network are also token holders, meaning that they have an interest, a vested interest in the success of the platform, means that they are likely to be more fans of your technology and be helpful out there and spread the word as well. And of course, there is this development of this inclusive ecosystem by creating your token and the blockchain solution or the new protocol that you're building. So you may have all seen this as well, market cap spike. This is not Bitcoin, this is altcoins. And really, this year has been the year of ICOs and the year where the market cap of non-Bitcoin cryptocurrencies has increased a lot, even if right now it has retraced a bit. Now, there are risks, of course. So one risk, we recently got it. We are kind of in the middle of that event, or at least very soon after. China ban on ICOs, the fact that many Chinese exchanges have announced closure or they are closing already. Security risks, of course, which is common to all companies dealing with cryptocurrency or data or cybersecurity is a major concern. But of course, because ICOs are usually handled the way they are, there are many risks in terms of scammers, fraudsters trying to promote or send or communicate an address, the wrong address. There is an unclear regulatory environment. That's an important risk. So if you're thinking about doing an ICO, or if you're looking at investing, you should look at the legal aspect, the fiscal aspect. And this is something, for example, we work with a law firm in Gibraltar, and we feel that because Gibraltar has decided to create a regulatory framework for what they call DLT, distributed ledger technology, we feel quite comfortable in working with this jurisdiction. There is, of course, the undefined relationship between token buyers and token issuers. I think this is in progress. This has to be improved, and there are many issues there that people should be aware of. And some people, unfortunately, they send money a bit too quick, they don't do a proper due diligence, and may not also do the right follow-up. Now, my last slide, predictions for the next 12 months. I think ICOs, despite the risk, despite a few disadvantages, are going to become an increasingly popular method of funding blockchain projects. Of course, and we can hope, there is a continuous improvement for technology and security, new tools for compliance and governance. As I was saying, first, jurisdictions will emerge with a new regulatory framework, and that's going to help a lot, both entrepreneurs and investors and any stakeholders. We will see first mergers and acquisitions in this space, people buying out other tokens and the ecosystem that goes along, the community that goes along with the token. I expect to, before the end of next year, we're going to have $10 billion more of tokens sold. And very important, and the last part of this conclusion, is that tokens are becoming a new asset class. So that's very important to remember. And again, like blockchain, I think token as an emerging asset class is not going to go away anytime soon. Thank you very much.